Hello, I'm Cole Powell, award-winning singer-songwriter from Random Mind Records. If you enjoy what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, click the bell for notifications. Consider supporting us on Patreon for exclusive perks, including polls and long-form reactions. Also, be sure to check out our brand new arts and media podcast, Words Like That, hosted by me, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, now I'll shut up and get to it.
Can't handle words like that. Words like that. No, no, no.
So, a little bit different video for our Home Free Fridays this week. This past Friday, we had, I think it was the colder weather reaction, their 2023 colder weather, and we'd set it up as a premiere, and when there's a premiere, people can start commenting on the page before the video actually goes live, and somebody commented, well, I guess you saw Austin left, and I saw the comment, I was like, that's got to be, it must be confusion or something. There's no way he's leaving. Well, no, turns out the band announced it, and Austin put out an 11-minute video addressed it initially, and I know last night, we're shooting this on Monday. Sunday, he was supposed to do like a live Q&A type thing, and I think that video's out now. And I was shocked. Austin, an integral part of the group, and I know they've already gone through one set of replacements where they originally had Chris, and then he left, and then they brought Chance in, which was before I was following the band. So for me, the core group always included Chance, and I went back and I've listened to some stuff with Chris, and I'm sure that it's going to end up being the same kind of thing here, where they get somebody to fill in Austin's spot, because as Austin says in the video, that he's not being replaced, it's just somebody new and somebody different, just like Chris wasn't really replaced. Austin didn't say that, this part, I'm saying this part. Chris wasn't really replaced, it was just somebody new in the spot he used to be in. And I'm sure they're going to get somebody in there to fill that fifth slot, and they're still going to be great. It's going to be a fantastic singer with a great range and a great tone that can do great harmonies. But it's going to be something different. It's not going to be the version of Home Free that I've been listening to for the last 18 months on the channel whenever I was introduced to them. And some of y'all have now been listening to for years with this lineup, this iteration. And with Austin from the get-go, 10 years now since their sing-off debut. But I went and watched Austin's video. It was 11 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but he said some stuff in there that really resonated with me. And I'm going to play about the first 4 minutes of the video here and kind of comment on some of the stuff that I totally get and identify with. So let's check it out. Here we go. This is Austin. This was released Friday after the announcement came out. This is Austin and his wife, Amberly. Let's do it.
Well, y'all, here we are.
Here we are.
It's a brand new day. It's a day that, a younger me would have never expected to see or find, but we grow, we change, we find where the universe, where God wants us to be, and where we're meant to be. And for me, that is home. Building a family with this beautiful woman. So yes, I am leaving home free.
So this is really interesting right here. I'm going to stop it right there. I don't think I'm going to stop it that many times, but so he starts off right here he goes like 30 seconds in the video, and he mentioned, first he says university, then he changes it, he says God, or makes an addendum to it and says God. And I don't know where Austin's religious views are. I do have a little bit of ideas. I believe he was raised like in a gospel setting. I think his dad may have been a gospel singer. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. And I've made no bones about I'm a religious person, I'm a Christian, but I don't talk about religion a lot on the channels. This is not a religious channel. If we're doing a song where there are some religious tinged lyrics, like a Bruce Springsteen has a lot of religious stuff in there, or we're reacting to a hymn that Home Free's covering or something, I'll talk a little bit about religion. And I know the people that follow this channel, there's going to be some that aren't where I am, don't agree with me religiously. I'm sure there are a bunch of Home Free fans that don't agree with Austin religiously. I don't even know where if me and Austin would agree religiously, but what he's speaking to here is, I think, something that many of us could come together and agree on, which is that we all have some type of purpose on this earth. And I know from personal experience, like there's something we're meant to be doing. I know from personal experience that if you're not finding that purpose and following it through, you're going to end up miserable. I know me personally, when I started out my senior year of high school, I really wanted to go into something in the entertainment industry. I was writing songs. I've always wanted to be a rock star. To a degree, I didn't really understand what that meant whenever I was 3 or 4 years old. I wanted to be a rock star. Didn't understand what I was really saying when I say that. But I did want to create music. And what I really wanted to do was make film. So when my last year of high school, I was like, I'm going to go to film school, get in the entertainment industry, all that. And then there were other things in my life that I had to deal with and that I had to consider, and other goals that I wanted to attain, that it just wasn't practical for me to pursue something like that. So then I sat down and I did the logical, reasonable, rational thing, trying to figure out, okay, so this is the practicality, this is where I am, these are the things I have to consider, these are my goals in life, what do I need to do to get there? And I decided on my degree program, my college, how long I was going to work. My wife and I, we were dating then, we were already planning on getting married, and how long we're going to work and save money for that, where we're going to live, get all that stuff worked out. And even though all that sounded good on paper, some of the stuff just completely derailed outside of my control. And other stuff worked out, yet I was still absolutely miserable. So, and I also had a lot of health issues I had to deal with. So all that was going on. So after about 5 years, I decided, well, you know what? Instead of doing the logical, reasonable, rational thing, I'm going to go do something I actually want to do. So that's when I started the record label, started pursuing a music career, started gigging, all that good stuff. And once again, some of the stuff didn't work out, and some of the stuff did. But even when it did, I was totally unfulfilled as a person. And after about another 5 years, I finally realized, instead of trying to figure out what the most logical thing to do is, or just pursuing desires willy-nilly, I needed to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And once I figured that out, I've been the most fulfilled I've ever been. I've been the happiest I've ever been. Still been some stuff that didn't work out or no good or whatever, but it hasn't mattered because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Austin has obviously reached a point where he realizes that it's time to do something different, that he's not supposed to continue on the road that he's been on for this last decade plus, with Home Free. And I know, as a fan who hasn't been here that long compared to a lot of you, that immediately makes me sad. I'm like, man, I don't want to believe this. They sound so good. They're so great together. But there's no doubt in my mind that Austin is 100% right. That he's reached the point where this isn't what he's supposed to be doing with his life. And I totally get it. And I also commend him for recognizing it, but not only recognizing it, for taking action to do something about it, even though this is going to be a big astronomical change in his life. All right, let's get back to it.
I want to say first off that everything is wonderful. I'm so fulfilled on a daily basis. And I have discovered something that I never thought I would want, which is to be home. I never knew what home was as a grown man, you know? We traveled so much and so often. And then we got a preview, a little peek of home life during COVID. And it showed me so much. I'll always be in Home Free in my heart, you know? Home Free and I are not done working together. I'm not done with acapella. And they know that this is what's best for me. And having their support through this process, it makes me feel like it's what I'm supposed to be doing. What is the biggest reason for this moment? I want to have a family. and I want to be home with my family, and not have to change my life around when that moment comes. You know, good Lord willing, right? Knock on wood. I want to be home, and I want to figure out how to have a livelihood just being at home. I'm really excited about the process of trying to find somebody, you know, that can replace me. Yeah, and it's not a replacement. It's a new thing, right? They're not going to try and do what I did. That'd be dumb, right?
All right, so a couple of things here. So he continued on. The main reason that he wants to do this, that he feels like that this is his, that he's supposed to be moving on to something else, is it's time for him to start a family. I have a wife, 4 kids, been married for 13 and a half years now, and I know he and Amberly just recently got married, and Austin and I are very close in age, and he feels like it's time to be home with his wife, have children, and I identify with that so much. I started a lot earlier than Austin did, obviously, but even so, I wish that I had started a family earlier, because I recently read a quote from Adam Sandler, who also waited a little bit longer to have children, start a family, and he was basically expressing regret because he said he realized that the only thing putting off having children ultimately does is giving your children less time with you, because you're not going to get extra time at the end of, added to the end of your life for your children to have you in their lives because you waited so long to have children. And Austin is obviously at the point where he knows that this is time to start a family. He also mentioned about having a taste of being at home with his wife during COVID, and it's so funny. The COVID lockdowns for us, I know this wasn't everybody's case here, but for us, the first few months here where we basically could do nothing was open, it was like a mini vacation for my family. My wife and I were home with our kids in perpetuity, every day, all day long. I know for some people that sound like misery. For me, that's a life goal. If we could both be home with the kids all the time and still somehow figure out a way to make a living, I don't know, maybe the YouTube thing will blow up, we'll see, but I would totally do it. And I know there have been cases of marriages actually ending because of the COVID lockdowns. I remember, I don't know if y'all saw the Hugh Jackman, he and his wife of like 20 plus years or separated, getting divorced or something. And one of the things that I read that one or both of them may have been in the joint statement they released said was that because of COVID lockdowns, they were having to spend a lot of time with each other, and they started growing apart because they didn't have time apart. That doesn't compute with me. If I could be with my wife all the time, I would. If I could be home with my family all the time, I would. Austin sounds like that's the same thing he wants. And it also sounds like that he may be able to pull it off. And he's already got such a phenomenal subscriber base from Home Free that he may be able to leverage and pull and help him be able to make a living while staying home, starting this family. And if he can figure out a way to do that, my hat's off to him. More power to him. He said there at the end, I already mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, that it would be silly to say that Home Free was going to replace him because whoever they get isn't going to be doing exactly what he was doing. They're going to be filling his role, but they're not going to be trying to be Austin. And that's 100% going to be the case. And I'm curious to see who they get, how it's all going to shake out, what they're going to sound like. I've no doubt they're going to continue. And he also said he's not through. I know he's going to finish out their tour. And he also mentioned the video. I'm not sure if it was, I can't remember if it was in what we just listened to or not, or this was in later part of the video I'm not going to play, that he would be performing live, making some appearances with him in the future. And I'm sure he's going to keep up with the guys. He also says that he and Tim have still got their thing going on. They just wrapped a video. So it's a bittersweet moment, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the group, also what happens with Austin, and I wish him the utmost success on starting that family, being at home, and turning the page on a new chapter in his life. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Consider supporting us on Patreon, and we'll see you soon.